Well, it's my honor to get to facilitate the round robin evaluation for Annette's speech on how she got Helen Mirren's goat.
In fact, I forgot the title. It's called A Bloated Tail. Is that right?
A bloated tail, okay. And I'm a bit of a nostromaniac. To get on the round robin, what we're going to be doing is different from a normal evaluation. You're all going to have an opportunity to participate, but the catch is you only got 30 seconds. And I'm going to be calling on people around the room. I'm going to go from left to right here. And I'll call on you, and you'll have 30 seconds to give whatever input you can give to Annette. But the trick is you can't repeat what somebody else has said. So as we get around the room, you're going to be, a little bit harder maybe to come up with some good suggestions. So we've got a lot, and the timer. This is really kind of a tough job for you, but I want you to time each person 30 seconds. And when stand up, please, when they're done, and so we can move on real quick, because we got a lot of people to cover. So we're going to start out, hold on just a second, but get back to 0.
I'll catch up, don't worry.
Give her 10.
Okay. Well, let's start out with our esteemed Carl Thormeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Leader of the evaluation. Facilitator. Annette, where are you?
I'm here.
You've obviously made some big changes since the last time I've heard the talk, and I think that allowed you to develop the scene much better, particularly in the beginning, and that was good. I think at the very end, since I'm used to more at the end with the hot solo bit and so forth, and you dropped all that, but yet you're still close to 5 minutes, but I felt it was almost dropped too quickly, maybe because I've heard it twice before.
Bill?
Ned, I think the one thing I'd like to talk about is the emotion in your face, especially your eyes. When you were talking about your speech, I saw your eyes lighting up at different times, and I thought that was really engaging, and I thought that drew everybody in a lot more.
Art?
I really liked how you showed the energy in the speech. It really came across. I agree with that comment about the eyes and just the overall delivery. The one thing that I would encourage you to, when you do run into an area where you've stumbled a little bit, you picked it right back up, and so the only thing I would say is you don't need to emphasize it at all. Just kind of, no one knows where you made a faux pas, you just keep on going.
Brendan?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Facilitator, for starting from the left side. Bill took one, and Art almost took one. Great speech. I really like the show of your that bell. I really like the emotion in your face when you showed surprise. I was surprised up here as well. You just had one misuse of the word license plate. You made it plural instead of singular, but. One thing that really struck out to me was you didn't use notes. You really know this speech. You really have it down very well. And thank you, Mr.
Well, you can pass it.
Annette, I have great nestomania for every time you speak. Having heard this 3 times now, this is by far the best version. You've cut it down brilliantly. Better than just do well is to make the big movements even more exaggerated than you have. Because you own the speech, so really deliver tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only thing I'll add is, I was trying to whisper it to you because I didn't realize we were doing the round robin, is the sweep of your hair. And I do it all the time, and so even wear your hair back if you have to, just because it's a distraction when we start putting it behind our ears.
Watch out for the hand clasp. You were effective when you were like this, but the hand clasp. And now this is very fine. Use dialogue. There are a couple of places where you could use dialogue. So instead of saying he told him he wanted a goat, have him say, I'm here to buy a goat. In other words, be him. And likewise, instead of saying the village elders said they could do it, have the village elder come out and says, you may have the goat for 2 days and $200.
And I'm sorry I had to step out due to nature calling, but at your at the start of your speech, what pulled me in was just a motto. It was an interesting motto at the beginning that kind of reeled in and piqued my interest. So keep up with those little catchy phrases.
That could be a speech in itself.
Annette, I really enjoyed your expressive, very, very expressive
nature on the holy cow to the holy goat. That transition was really fun.
What'd I
I
tell
also
you?
noticed the hand clasping because it's something that I do as well. Thank you.
Jared?
Annette, again, great job on the speech. I love watching it every time. I personally got tripped up on the location of the goat. So kind of piggyback on what Fred was saying and what Arnie said too, if you can really demonstrate where the goat is at one point and then if it moves where it is at the second point, that might be better. I like you moving around at the front, but I got confused on, okay, where's the goat at? Like just on the stage. So that's one recommendation. Thanks.
To improve upon, your voice inflection and mannerisms and gestures were contagious, so it was a great speech. I agree with what Arnie said, or was it possibly, or just making greater exaggeration of your gestures, but great job.
Kathleen?
Well, everything that I could have possibly said has already been said, except that I really appreciated the groaner pun at the end. I thought it was a very good way to end.
Thank you.
Annette, much better than the first time I heard it. 2 points I'd like to bring up. Tomorrow when you give your talk, you'll be on a much larger stage. There'll be a huge area for you to be in, so you can take the advantage of greater exaggeration in your movements as you walk back and forth. You might want to get there a little early just to see what it's like. And second, just when the goat gets out of the truck, both times I've been a little bit confused on that. Maybe you could say something to the effect that as my father barreled down the road and the winds picked the goat, that bloated goat up, or something like that. It just gives it a little more something.
Explanation.
Go ahead.
Annette, great job using your words to evoke imagery. I have a couple that gave me the wrong image in my mind, and one of those was that you said it surrounded his truck with Belizean license plates, and I imagined a ton of license plates surrounding his truck instead of the truck having license plates, so maybe rearrange the words there. And another one was you said it refused to let my dad save the goat. Instead, maybe you should think about using the word kill there to represent Helen's view instead of your dad's view. Thanks.
Lisa?
Just a couple things. Be sure of the director. You said you think it was.
I did that on purpose, but I know it was him, but.
Okay. And then
Okay.
when I know you know the speech by heart, but the rest of us don't. So when you screw up in a spot or you lose your tracking, don't give such a physical sign, because it trips everybody else up, and then we know that you've made a mistake.
And I pass, I can't say anything more than anybody else, because they did such a great job.
Right, and Annette, I just like elaborate something Don said, because I've been there and done that same venue. And when you start out, you started out here at the lectern and you stayed stationary for about a minute or so. And then you finally moved out. You moved out really well once you did move out. But you got that whole big area. You might want to, just at certain points in the speech, just have in your mind, at that point I'm going to be over here, looking at this side. And then at that point, and then later point, I'm going to be over here looking at that side. So you just have it on cue, and it's just part of your speech, and it's just part of your movement. And it also gets help when you're moving, it gets rid of excess energy. It gets into the movement, so it doesn't interfere, you don't notice it. And so maybe at the end of the speech, you might say, and you can believe it or not. I'll return to this later.